Welcome to the Myopia podcast, where we give you the latest myopia research, clinical topics, and industry insights. Make sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all awesome myopia content. And now to our host, a massive myopia manager himself, Dr. David Kading.
Myopia management is one of the fastest growing areas in eye care, but it takes the right playbook to make it work. And that's why I work with Treehouse Eyes. They provide the training, ongoing support, marketing, and tools to help independent optometrists succeed. If you're passionate about myopia management, visit growmymyopiapractice.com to learn more. And now back to the show.
Thank you for joining us for the Myopia podcast. I'm here with my friend, Zach Holland. It's good to have you on the podcast, buddy.
Yeah, no, thanks for inviting me on the first episode with you.
Yes. Hopefully first of many, huh?
Deal.
Yeah, deal. So Zach has a kind of an interesting practice in Minnesota that is a legacy that has gone back many, many years, even before you. And now you're crushing it. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your practice and what you do?
Totally. Yeah, I like Dave said, I'm practicing in Minneapolis, Minnesota. We do a lot of specialty lenses, so that's going to particularly be scleral lenses, ortho-K, myopia control. Recently started doing corneal cross-linking at the office for progressive keratoconus, some dry eye, pretty much everything anterior segment, irregular things, clinical research and trials. So yeah, all the anterior segment stuff. So kind of referral-based, but a little bit of primary care, mostly referral-based specialty though. Yeah.
So primary care probably makes up what percentage, do you think, of your practice?
Well, 3% of our gross revenue last year was glasses. Most of our primary care is if you have keratoconus and your wife wants to come see us, we'll see her. So we're on major medical panels, and so we're in a professional building, so we're kind of hidden from the public. So we've never had a walk-in. So it's mostly people that just find us on their insurance and happen to be local, where a lot of our specialty lens patients travel. It's not uncommon for me to see people that have traveled for 2 or 3 hours or over states. I even have a couple like international patients.
Yeah.
It's tough to do ortho-K. I have an individual from I think he's Panama. It's South America somewhere. So
yeah,
it's tough. We end up shipping him his lenses every now and then, and sometimes I'm a little nervous about customs.
Yeah. It is always interesting when you have patients from other countries and you're trying to touch base with them and coordinate, and they say, hey, I want to get some new lenses, and you're like, well, how long are you in town? And they're like, oh, I've been here all week and I'm leaving tomorrow. It's kind of like, why didn't we schedule this at the beginning of the week? At least I could get you some lenses before you go. I don't know if you deal with that too.
Well, I mean, sure, we've all dealt with the kids going off to college. They've
right.
been around for months and months, and then they come see you the week before. So yes,
exactly.
it's a hurdle, and things that, I mean, you do this more often. You find tips and tricks to figure it out. But yeah, that's a tough situation.
So specialty lenses can be pretty involved. There's a lot of instrumentation. There's a lot of ordering lenses. There's a lot of doing those sort of things. So you have to have found some efficiencies in your clinic, or you just see 8 patients a day and make it work. So what are some things that you've done to be able to increase the number of patients that you're seeing a day from an efficiency standpoint?
Yeah, we kind of do a little bit of both. We do set longer appointments, so I think I probably see 10 to 12 comprehensive appointments per day. But we do a lot. I'm really big on delegation, and so I have really highly trained staff members that, frankly, can do an entire eye exam, do a lot of the treatments that we do. I mean, I know we're not talking about this, but specifically, like, I have technicians that do IPL. I have staff members that order contact lenses. I mean, they order scleral lenses, they order ortho-K lenses for me, and so they're doing all the testing beforehand, refraction, dilating the patient. Like, basically, I'm walking into an exam that's already done. I'm verifying. Mm-hmm. And a lot of this is the way I train a lot of my technicians and clinical staff are, I think it's really important to teach them to scribe first. It's really, when I was training these staff members, they're watching me do an eye exam, and then they get to see me do that 10, 15,000 times here before they start doing these type of things. Versus if you're training someone to do technician work first, you can't really show them how to do pupils and confrontations thousands of times. So you show them 3 to 5 to 10 times, and how good are they actually doing it? They also get to learn a lot of the medical terminology when they're in an exam room with me for an entire year, listening to me describe medical conditions to patients, and they get to hear my spiel hundreds and hundreds of times over. And so then that becomes their verbiage on how to describe eye conditions to patients. So it's basically allowing me to train my staff members super well before I really allow them to do it.
So when you hire somebody new, I've seen a lot of people, they'll hire somebody and they just teach them how to do the equipment, and then after they've been with them for years and years and years, then maybe they'll do a scribe if they're willing to do that. But you kind of do it in reverse of that. So let's say you hired somebody and they're starting, tomorrow. Take me through the first 6 months.
Yeah,
What's that gonna look like?
Definitely scribe first. Obviously, teaching them the equipment is important, but by allowing me to do a scribe, they're watching me do it, and so as long as I'm doing things properly and not taking shortcuts, you'll get in a huge ball of wax if you take shortcuts and you're doing things wrong, because then you're teaching your staff to do things wrong. But I guess I should say, I don't have a formal training program. Really, I kind of just have them follow me, and I do the best I can on a daily basis, but then they're following me.
Yeah. So you fit tons of specialty contact lenses. What if I'm coming in as a patient and we've already decided that I'm going to get specialty lenses, let's say scleral lenses or orthokeratology? What's that going to look like for how your team helps you with that? Let's do scleral lenses first, and then how orthokeratology would work.
Yeah, they're probably pretty similar processes. Like I said, my team will effectively do all the comprehensive exam testing components, including a topography or scleral topography if we need that too. And if we're ordering a lens with a scleral lens, we're putting trial lenses on, and I'll come in and I'll do my evaluation. I have a scribe, I have technicians, I have a virtual scribe also that works, and so they all document the chart. I don't touch the chart until everything is totally done, and really it's just a formal sign-off. So they'll document everything. The patient leaves. They talk to my front desk about finances, and we can talk to that down the road if you want. And then my technicians will call the lens manufacturer, order the lenses. They talk with consultation, which again, that continues to teach them lens dynamics and specifics. And then, do you want to get into the receiving the lenses
Sure.
and the next steps?
Yeah.
So I have a specific technician, or I don't even call her technician, I have a specific employee. Really, she's historically an optician trained, but since we do so few glasses, her main job is just organizing our contact lens system. So she will receive the lens from the manufacturer, or FedEx, or whoever's shipping us the lens, and has a whole process where she tracks existing warranties, checks up on patients that are in current warranties, ones that are maybe expiring, sends text messages, and she will track every single order. Lens, we don't really have to return lenses anymore, but she collects and trades lenses for patients when they're picking them up. And really just kind of oversees the whole system to make sure we don't lose track of any patients. Because as you develop a large scale, even a mild scale specialty lens practice, you can't keep track of this stuff on your own. You're so busy doing patient care. And so she really kind of organizes the whole system.
So let's say you've seen a patient back for myopia management, orthokeratology, and you've decided that you need to make an adjustment to the fit of the lens. So what is that going to look like for your discussion with your team member?
Yeah, it kind of depends on the exact situation. If the patient's within warranty, then we just order another lens and kind of go through our process again. The patient.
Do you order that, or does the team member?
Typically, the team member will. It kind of depends if it's a complicated case, whether it's keratoconus or ortho-K. I'll step in on the I'll step in on the consultation discussion and work with the consultation team if they're asking questions above my staff's like pay grade. But next time we have that same situation, that same staff member should be able to address it if they're listening and learning. So
Right.
part of it is having staff members that are engaged in learning and wanting to do a good job. I mean, the other advantage of like training your staff to super high levels are they are inherently more valuable to you, but they're because we do such a unique specialty, they're less valuable to other offices. There are no other offices around me that do high levels of specialty lenses and the unique stuff we do. And so if these staff members, if they want to leave my office, the skills that I've taught them really aren't super valuable to other practitioners. So it's really a employee retention plan. I mean, I'm also giving them like higher level tasks. So they're not just checking visioning and putting the patient in the exam room. They're part of the team. They're part of the treatment plan. And so empowering your staff to be part of the change and part of like high level practicing really just gives them some level of accomplishment.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there's a lot of turnover in like just low level technician staff members. It's just because they're not like, it's not a profession. At that point, it's just a job that you're getting paid a low wage for. And they're just like, there's no enjoyment in that.
Yeah. So train your staff so much that they're worthless to anybody else.
Yeah, and highly valuable to you, for sure. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
all of us do things differently,
Yeah.
and so there's some crossover between offices. And again, this equation doesn't exactly apply to everyone. I'm blessed that there's no one around me that wants to practice specialty lenses on a super high level.
Right. So how we also spoke a little bit about this, is how are you becoming the person that everybody sends to? Like, how does a specialty lens patient find you, that you're the person they go to?
Well, it's kind of luck. Frankly, I just stepped into a high-level specialty lens practice that coincidentally was built by Jason Jellica and Brooke Messer previously, and they're both my mentors and have worked with me to both grow the practice and learn specialty lenses on a high level. I mean, I go to a lot of meetings, I go to a lot of networking events, and I mean, when I'm let's say I'm running into a patient that's a CI and they need vision therapy, there's a couple doctors in my area that do that, and I get to decide where the patient goes. For referring doctors into my office, if they don't know that I'm around or I'm not first on mind for these type of specialties, they're going to refer these patients to other offices. And so we're talking thousands and thousands of dollars per patient. And so I have actually no problem going to CE meetings that are, even if they are expensive, if these other doctors refer me one patient because I'm on the tip of their tongue, it's worth it. I mean, I enjoy CE meetings. I enjoy learning, growing, and doing a better job. But I also have to keep in mind that if you have a primarily referral-based practice, your revenue is potentially really variable and based on other people's referring patterns.
Right. So you've got to be forefront of their mind, and making sure that you're supporting them.
And you definitely have to refer these patients back for primary care. Like, I don't want to do primary care. And so again, like I said, we do very, very few glasses. Like, I want the referring doctor to do the comprehensive exam at their visit. And I don't want to steal these patients because I want the doctor to continually refer patients back to me, and the doctors want to keep their own patients. And so it's a win-win. You get into a problem when you start stealing patients. Optometry is a small profession. Like, people know that. It's going to backfire, and it's not worth it.
Right. Do you communicate? How do you communicate what's happening with the patient that's been referred to you? Do you touch base with them, letters and whatnot?
Yeah, totally. Again, more delegation. My virtual scribe drafts up a letter to the referring doctor that includes the exam components, our plan. She's been with me for about a year, and so some of her knowledge is excellent, and others are pretty good. So she'll send that letter to one of my more experienced staff members who reviews it and then fax that referral note back to the referring doctor. So there's multiple kind of check stops in the process. My front desk also has a running spreadsheet of people that have been referred into. And so there's multiple columns on have they been scheduled? Did they come in for the consultation? Did we send? And then the final checkoff is, did we send the referring doctor a final note saying what the end point of the consultation was? So there's multiple steps in the process until we check that patient off that, yes, we're completely done.
Yeah, I think that is such a key component. And the vast majority of practitioners don't really know if that patient never came back to them. But when they receive a letter from you stating that I'm going to have them come back to see you for a comprehensive exam, it just makes them feel more comfortable. They don't have to wait a year to find out whether that person comes back. They won't remember if they did or not. The second added value that brings is it's another touch point from you telling them, hey, I take care of these types of patients. You just had a guy right before lunch that you saw, or there's a new myopic patient that you just saw right before lunch. I see those kids. Here's how I'm taking care of them. They're coming back to you for their primary care. It's a marketing piece as much as an informative patient education piece.
Yeah, what referring doctors absolutely love is, specifically with keratoconus, is I include this in my letter, and I tell the patients I don't want the patient to buy glasses from my office. In fact, I don't want them to use their vision plan on glasses in the referring doctor's office, because I need those benefits for their specialty lens, their medically necessary specialty lenses. And so I tell the patients, look, if you want glasses, go back to your primary care doctors and pay cash for them. And the referring doctors love that.
Yeah. Pay cash, I'll take it. It'll work. Yeah. Well, that's awesome. Hearing from other practices, even if we're doing the exact same thing as you, and just knowing that that's being done, but also the little tidbits that you had about utilizing your virtual scribe, sending letters, staying in touch with referring doctors. Those are all things I think that we can all do a little better on and be encouraged to do and grow our practices, whether it's myopia or specialty contact lenses. So I appreciate those tidbits.
Totally. Yeah, I don't know if I have any other specific thoughts.
Yeah. Well, awesome. Sounds like a good time to end then.
Yeah,
Thank
totally.
you. Appreciate you
Dave.
being on the podcast. And thank you for listening. Make sure to like and subscribe. If you could go to your favorite podcasting app and leave us a review, that would be most appreciated, as well as the 5 stars. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you again next time on the Myopia Podcast.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Thank you for tuning in to the Myopia Podcast. If you enjoy our content, please leave a 5-star review. And don't forget to subscribe for more great episodes.